what would be the best practice, best way to utilize the information available in Sikking알파? If you are not really a sophisticated investor, let's say you are just a new beginner, what would be the best way?
I think the best thing is to find a stock that you like, or stocks that you're interested in, and just focus on the rating summary box and the factor grades box at the beginning, certainly for new investors. Mm-hmm. I think that gives you a real picture of the company. And then I think the most important thing is have fun, enjoy it, right? And read the articles that look fun to you. Read the news that's interesting to you. Ultimately, people do well in things that they enjoy, and so I think it's get a picture of the stock using the tools that we've got, and then just have fun. Find stocks that you're interested in, that you love, and find articles to read that you love reading.
I like your advice, because it is also my belief that we need to invest throughout our life. Let's say the investment is not starting now and finish in about 6 months' time. We will have to invest next 10 years, 20 years. So I think that the process is very important. We usually only focusing on the result, how many percent I got from this stock. But what's important is how enjoyable the journey was. So was it interesting 10 years? Was it a happy journey for 20 years? And as this happy journey, at the end of the day, if we have the 2x, 3x, that will be additional benefits of the investment.
Yeah, and also I think that there's so much to learn in investing about the world. Investing isn't a separate category which is divorced from people's lives. What I mean by that is, for almost anything going on in the world which is important, those things are reflected in the prices of something. Mm. Often in the prices of stocks, or the prices of commodities, or the prices of something. So for example, if you look at what happened with the pandemic, and the impact on stocks in America, basically what happened was the pandemic sped up change, right? It's that trends that we knew were happening, like people moving online more, people doing videos like this, instead of me flying to Singapore to meet you, Charles, and just to go out to dinner together, right? The fact that we're just doing this by video without flying, the pandemic, it was like the pandemic took what was going to happen in 5 years and made it all happen in 1 year. And that's reflected in stock prices. That was why there was such a shift towards growth stocks, because investors said, I want to own the future, and the future is happening faster than people thought it was going to happen.
Yes.
And so stock prices aren't just a separate area of, oh, I'm interested in stocks. Stocks are like a prism through which you can understand the world, and they tell you a lot about what's really going on. So if you can find that areas that you're really interested in, that you love reading about, you'll not only make yourself a better investor, but you'll learn a lot about the world. I guess, for example, that the investors who you mentioned who own Tesla, right, through reading about Tesla, they understand a lot more about how cars are going to electric cars and what the future is of automobiles than they would have done had they not been invested in Tesla and not been reading about that. Mm-hmm. So if you have really real fun in your investing and you find areas that you're really interested in, you can become an expert, you can become a more successful investor, but you also become a more educated person and you understand the world better. And I find that really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. For example, yesterday, the content of my YouTube channel was about the stock called Skills, a gaming platform, the esports. Myself, I never play game. Since I was very little, as a kid, I was never interested in gaming. So, for example, the world famous game like StarCraft, I never played. But now I can see that I am so into that skills, and I try to understand what kind of ecosystem the company has between the developer and gamers and company, and it is so interesting. And like you said, I become so much educated day by day because I have to study about the stock. It's a wonderful way to upgrade yourself.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really interesting way of looking at things, because I've never thought of Seeking Alpha as an e-learning platform as well as an investing platform. But I think it is. I think it's also an education platform.
Absolutely.
And what makes it even more powerful in that respect is the comments and the discussions under the articles, where people aren't just reading the articles, but they're also discussing them and commenting on them and finding other people with the same interests. And in a way, that's the way education should be. That you educate yourself in what you're excited about, what you're interested in, and then you find like-minded people to help educate each other and to get better at things.
Absolutely. Actually, our conversation is getting longer, but I recently have this crazy idea to inform. I didn't make the video yet, but I'm planning to have one content, so-called the best way to improve your English. In Korea, not many people speak English. Even though we spend a lot of time sitting at the desk, we learn grammar, we try to improve. We spend like 2 hours, 3 hours per day for 10 years, 20 years. But still, not many people can follow the news on the TV. Not many people can read the newspaper in English. The reason is there's no use. You cannot improve your language without any usage. It has to be useful. So in my opinion, for the young generation, I would like to encourage them to make a stock investment since you are very young. And then you will have to get the information because you own Amazon, you own Facebook. You have to study, right? What's going on? Now, if there's a newspaper talking about Amazon, you have to read. There was a earning. You want to find out how successful the revenue growth was, how earning came out, and so on. So I think this is an unbelievable learning process if you invest in the stocks. So it's not only about the money.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's a great point.
Thank you. This next question was not actually planned, but yesterday, what I was doing was, because we have this amazing interview planned today, I was surfing on Ciking and I found one article written by yourself. And it was about a market correction, the big one. With that article, you were saying that there will be a stock market crash on its way. And what's amazing is you had written that article on 27th of February 2020, just like a couple of weeks prior to the market crash. So can I ask, how did you know the market will go down?
First of all, I'm very wary of trying to call the stock market, right? Meaning trying to predict how the stock market will do. What happened at the time was there was evidence about COVID that was coming out, and evidence about the seriousness of COVID. And the purpose of my article wasn't to say I'm definitely predicting that the stock market will crash. It was to say, kind of, buckle up your seatbelts. There's about to be a lot of volatility. And I think the market will go down a lot, but it doesn't matter whether I'm right or wrong. The most important thing for individual investors is you have to have a methodology for investing that means that you're not emotionally sucked into the market. And what I actually said in the second part of the article was, I think the market will go down, but you shouldn't sell all your stocks. Because the problem is, if you get into the business of timing the market, you'll lose over the next 10 years. So what you should actually do is just make sure that you own stocks that are really good stocks and that you stick with them. And the thing that I'm most proud about is that I think that was really good advice for people, because the market did correct. And there were many people who, when the market corrected, just sold everything and said, oh my God, this is all going to be a disaster. It's going to keep going down. And as you know, what then happened was the market not only recovered, but grew enormously to much higher highs than it had previously.
Yes.
And I think that's a great example of how individual investors shouldn't try to time the market. What they should do is try to own really good stocks and hold them for long periods of time. And that was what I was trying to do. And I was talking about Seeking Alpha Premium as a tool for doing this, which is so many investors just don't know which stocks are good stocks. They don't really know, they don't have the tools to assess how fast a company is growing or whether it's profitable. Just how good a business is this? And through the stuff that we've discussed today, and when I was showing you and we were discussing the factor grades, growth, profitability, valuation, momentum, and EPS revisions, we're just trying to give people the tools and make it easy for people to say, I want to own high quality stocks. And if I own high quality stocks, I'm going to have the confidence just to hold on for 5 or 10 years. And that's the key to succeeding as an individual investor. So I don't normally say this, but I'm proud about that article, because the real goal of Seeking Alpha is to help people succeed, right? It's like, this isn't just about making money. This is about people's lives. It's about whether you can afford to go to college or send your kids to college, whether you can afford healthcare, whether you can take care of your family members, whether you can look forward to retirement, where you're financially secure in retirement and you're not feeling anxious about that. If you do really well, it's about, can you give money to other people and help other people? Can you give money to charities, right? Investing isn't about making a quick buck. It's not about selfishness. Investing is about achieving your life goals and helping other people as well. And that's the mission of Seeking Alpha. We want to help people to really succeed in their investing and feeling self-confident, feeling that they can do this and that they feel good about themselves, which itself transforms people, and help them to get things right in their lives. And I'm proud of that article because I think it was really good education for people. It wasn't just, the headline is, the founder of Seeking Alpha predicted the crash before it happened. But for me, the real headline is, the founder of Seeking Alpha just cares a ton about our users. That's why I started the site. I started the site because I wanted the product for myself. So the real headline is that the founder of Seeking Alpha wrote an article giving people advice about how to invest as an individual investor so that you don't make big mistakes and keep trying to time the market, and how to do that well and to stay in there and succeed in your life goals. And I think in that respect, the article was a good article.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm so impressed, David. If Seeking Alpha goes for IPO, I think I will buy the stock. The reason is, I have a strong belief that in this era, now it's a trend that the companies who want to help others, the companies who provide the value to other people will be successful. Now we are living in a transparent era. You cannot hide anything. Everything is open. Everybody has an equal amount of information. So only way to be successful is make sure other people become successful because of you. And that makes you successful. And I can see that from Seeking Alpha because of what you say as a CEO. And I will buy your stock if you go for IPO. Let me know.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate your saying that. And I want to say as well, Charles, I think it's exactly what you're doing with your YouTube channel, which is a big reason why I wanted to have the conversation with you and do the interview, which is you're out there helping Korean investors to invest successfully in what they're doing, and you're helping to educate people and empower people. And that's an amazing thing. And so being a small part of that right? Even if it's just one episode in your YouTube channel, I feel honored to be part of that as well, because I think you're doing great things.
Thank you, David. Thank you. I mean, you already gave us kind of answer, I think, but I was about to ask you. These days, as you are aware, the stock price is going up dramatically. Every month, 10%, 15%. It's kind of crazy. So there are many Korean investors who are still beginners. They worry every day because they are not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. Do you think we should be worried about this bubble thing? Is it too hot at the moment? Should we sell those stock? What should we do now? What is your advice about this kind of situation?
I think there is cause for concern. I think that valuations are high, and there are many people who are saying that stock market returns over the next 10 years will be less good because valuations are high. And at the same time, I think what's most important for individual investors is not to try to time the market, as I said, because it doesn't work. You know, they sell and then the market goes up more, and then they regret that they sold, and then they buy when it's gone up more, and all sorts of things like that. And so I think the key for many investors is own high quality stocks, be diversified, consider ETFs to diversify your portfolio in other areas. So for example, there are other areas of the world where valuations are lower, but where there might be good growth. You can diversify your portfolio very easily using ETFs. You can add other areas which are less risky, like you can put some commodities into your portfolio, like gold or platinum. There are ETFs for these. You can buy some bonds as well, and that way you can diversify your portfolio to reduce your risk. The most important thing is to have a methodology where you're not making just impetuous decisions based on gut feeling immediately, but that you feel that you've got a good methodology. And I think if people feel that they have a good process, they'll do much better.
Fantastic. You have already given us a lot of advices and good messages, but I was wondering if there is any other messages you want to deliver, because many of the Korean investors are still new to the US market. I think the US stock market investment has just started. So many people have been in the market only for 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, and they are all beginners. So as an experienced investor, could you share your thoughts about investing, and what would be the best way to be successful as an investor?
For people starting off?
Yes.
Yeah, I think a great way to start off is with ETFs. I think ETFs are amazing. They diversify you, but you can find ETFs that are doing well, and you can learn a lot with ETFs. So I would recommend that people don't just jump in and put all of their savings into individual stocks, but that they buy ETFs, and then they buy small positions in individual stocks as they're learning about how to invest. Because when you buy individual stocks, that's where it gets really fun, and that's where you learn a ton, and that's where you become a really great investor. But if you're starting off, don't jump. You know, the classic mistake is, you know, I think Tesla's going to do really amazingly well. I think 3D systems is going to do well because of the future of 3D printing. And so I'm going to put my whole savings into those two stocks. You don't want to do that, right? You need to diversify. And so a great way to do it is to say, I'm going to buy some ETFs that give me diversification. And then what I'm going to do is, with a smaller amount, I'm going to start buying individual stocks, and it will be just as fun, but you'll be able to learn without putting at risk all of your savings.
Okay. How many stocks do you have? Can I ask? How many stocks?
Well, I have to be careful, because one of the things that I care about a lot is that Seeking Alpha as a company, right? And that nobody thinks that we have any particular interests. So I tend to be very careful as CEO of Seeking Alpha, because I don't want anybody to say, you published this article on Seeking Alpha because you own the stock. So I generally invest in ETFs, and I pick stocks for things that I just can't do with an ETF. So I tend to own I own a lot of stocks with ETFs, but I tend to pick relatively few stocks. The problem is that I keep getting pulled into buying individual stocks, because when you read Seeking Alpha, it's just such fun, and it's so interesting. And ultimately, if you're a really good stock picker, you can make more money picking individual stocks than you can with ETFs. So I own a relatively small number of individual stocks, and I use ETFs as well, but I keep getting pulled into the individual stocks.
Yes, I understand. I personally have like 50 stocks because it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Okay, David, I believe that's it for today. I feel very lucky to have you with me today. It has been extremely valuable time, and also very enjoyable time for me and for my subscribers, I believe. Thank you again for your time, and I hope we can invite you back to the channel in the near future.
That would be amazing. And Charles, I just want to say a huge thank you to you. I've really enjoyed this. I feel honored to be part of what you're doing, which is to help people, help Korean investors. And for all of those people who are watching this, right, in your channel, I just want to really wish everybody a lot of success, and that they have fun as well while they're being successful, and that they enjoy it. So thank you.
Thank you, David. Stay healthy and happy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thank you.